5 seconds to go. Start. There seems to be a certain amount of confusion when culture is referred to, especially in the government. Stop. Culture is everywhere in whatever you do, eat, sleep, walk, talk. Stop. It is not only an art. Stop. Culture has to be inborn. Stop. It cannot be implemented into anybody just like you implement education. Stop. No doubt, the government is doing a laudable job in trying to get the massive public interested in culture. Stop. But the biggest blunder they made is the Apna Utsav that was organized in Delhi last year. Stop. No statement has been brought forward to show how much culture has been created in the city of Delhi. Stop. What was the idea behind so much expenditure and so much culture that does not exist? Sign of interrogation. No doubt it was like giving a book on law to a 2-year-old KG going student and telling him to study. Stop. Culture can be brought into prominence. Stop. But, at first, it is necessary to understand how much acceptance is there amongst the public. Stop. As you travel, you will see that most of the public listens to film music, ghazals, geets, but suddenly you give them classical music by the topmost artists of our country. Stop. Naturally, they are not going to understand what is happening. Stop. It is a gradual consumption which should take place from light music, which can be understood, gradually to better music and better arts. Stop. Para. Same is the case with the folk dances. Stop. Now, folk dance is not artistic, not all of them, but a lot of them are not artistically inclined. Stop. There are spontaneous activities which take place during festival or during other rites. Stop. They seem always right amongst their own atmosphere, their own surroundings, cannot be presented on a stage and ask people to accept them as a form of art. Stop. All this should have been thought before organizing these festivals. Stop. No doubt it is a very good idea to show what our culture is to other countries where it does not exist or where they don't have. Stop. We have a very rich culture in our country wearing culture. Stop. Culture is one thing which can replace words. Stop. It does not mean any words to convey something which our government is trying to do. Stop. We have got several museums in the country. Stop. All over the world, there are museums which are recognized as educational institutions. Stop. I have been shouting for the last 5 years, why this step has not been taken by the government where our museums are taken as educational institutions, where our culture is housed. Stop. The government has not come forward with any policy and always evaded the reply. Stop. Para. Sir, we would like you to share with us the role which you envisage for elected local bodies in the planning process. Stop. At present, there exist many different agencies outside the framework of democratically elected local bodies, to whom is entrusted most of the major tasks of urban planning. Stop. These include city development authorities and city improvement trusts, Besides, a number of state government agencies owing responsibilities to the state government above, comma, but not to the people below. Stop. If planning for economic development and social justice is to become the centerpiece of the activities of democratic local bodies, comma, should all these other agencies be dissolved or merged into the elected local bodies? Sign of interrogation. Or should they be kept separate and above the system, comma, as at present? Sign of interrogation. The answer you give should be compatible with our basic principle of maximum devolution. Stop. Para. The second point relating to planning is the methodology for coordinating urban planning with rural planning. While it would of course be appropriate for urban and rural bodies respectively to plan matters which fall exclusively within the irrespective jurisdiction, it has to be recognized that growth impulses largely come from the interaction between urban groups and their rural areas. Stop. It is because the linkages between town and country are so crucial to growth that many state governments have established bodies like the District Planning Board or the District Planning and Development Council to identify and strengthen these linkages. Stop. The tragedy is that, comma, in the name of coordination, comma, District Planning Board have been established outside the framework of democratically elected local bodies and generally placed under the charge of a minister appointed by the state government. Stop. Para. Mr. Deputy Chairman, comma, Sir, comma, I extend to this resolution my wholehearted support, comma, though I wish he had extended its scope by incorporating within it two more services, but then I cannot deal with that subject now. Stop. You have assured me that the matter will be taken up on a subsequent occasion. Stop. I do not know when that subsequent occasion is likely to occur. Stop. Para. Sir, comma, I am grateful to the Home Minister for some kind words he has said about me in regard to my interest in this subject. Stop. No doubt for long I have been urging the necessity of creating more all India services. Stop. During the last 5 years or so, comma, ever since that recommendation on the subject was made by the States Reorganization Commission, and during the last 1 year and a half, comma, near about that time, comma, I have been tabling resolutions on the subject twice or thrice, but they could not come up. Stop. Of course, comma, as they say, comma, there are higher forces that govern the destiny of things, and so far as parliament is concerned, comma, it is the government and the undisputed sway of the chair that govern the density of resolutions. Stop. Obviously, comma, it was so ordained that this resolution should come up only now, comma, and that too, comma, as a government sponsored resolution. Stop. Even as it is, comma, I welcome it most heartily and feel enthusiastic and even jubilant about it. Stop. Sir, comma, I sincerely congratulate the Honorable the Home Minister for the tact, comma, the firmness, comma, the strength and the determination which he has shown in overcoming all the delicacies and difficulties which, comma, I am sure, comma, were there in his way. Stop. The opposition and unwillingness of the states were there initially, comma, I know. Stop. And I also know, comma, sir, comma, that about a year ago, comma, when I tabled a question on this subject, comma, the then Home Minister told us that the government would be only too glad to have more All India services, but then the handicap in their way was that the states were not agreeable to it. Stop. Subsequently to that, sir, about the middle of this year, I wrote to all the chief ministers requesting them to let me know their views on this subject, and I was a little unhappy to find that no chief minister replied to me saying that he was agreeable to it. Stop. One or two of them especially said that they were against it. Stop.